Howdy YouTube, and welcome to this episode of the Gunman. So today we're doing a review and demonstration on the brand new DeVilbiss DV1 Clearcoat. So fair to say there's been a lot of anticipation around this spray gun, but I've finally got one in my hands. So the setup I got, as you can see on screen there, was 1.2mm, and C1 is the name of the air cap. I couldn't resist but get the digital version. When I was posed the question, do you want digital or non-digital? I just said, well, yeah, come on, give me the digital. However, at the end of the day, they are a fair bit more expensive. I was just checking up on the prices. The digital version is going to set you back around about another 150 Australian dollars, so probably around 100 US, and I think it was something like 80 or 90 pounds more if you were to go for the digital over the just standard non-digital. So look, personally, I've been thinking about it. I've been asking myself this week, if it was my hard-earned money, would I get the digital? And I've answered myself is probably no. I do work quite hard for my money, as I'm sure that a lot of you guys do. So yeah, look, I've decided I'd probably just go for the standard cheap ANI gauge, which you probably see on most of my guns. That's the ones with the little orange air adjustment valve on them. So yeah, look, they're around $30 Australian. Cheap, but they work really well, and they do seem to last for me anyway. I've never had one die on me yet, and I use them daily. So yeah, look, I totally understand why the digital gauges are expensive, and a big part of that is that they need accreditation or certification that they are safe in spray booths. So basically, because it's got electric components in there, you need to get tests done, and you need to get it certified that it is safe and it's not going to create a spark in the spray booth. So that's a big part of the reason they are quite expensive. So yeah, it's all good. Anyway, as we're looking inside the box, we have the instruction manuals, all that kind of stuff. So this gun here is the option with the pot. So I believe these days you can get two options, the one with the pot and the one without the pot. Now, these days, most people sort of use disposable pots anyway, so a lot of you guys that are in the refinishing world won't even need the version with the pot. Now, I believe, straight out of the box, they do come with the white pot, and Chris from Spray Guns Direct, who actually did send this gun out, and I will actually have a link to that down below if you are interested in getting one, he decided to send out a black pot because supposedly he reckons that it would look a little bit better with the black pot. And big part of that is that the original DV1 base coat came with a black pot, so some people were a little bit surprised when they saw that it came with a white pot. So I can see why they did it. I can see why they put a white pot on there. It's a bit more contrast, but at the end of the day, that's just aesthetics, and that's up to you what you think will look better. Now, the next thing that you may notice is that the gun itself has got a textured finish on it, and it's also matte. So I think the gun looks great. I think it's like really pleasing on the eye, but I've never really liked textured finish spray guns. So what I'm doing here is showing you a few of my other spray guns in my collection. So you see that GTI Pro, it's got a really nice gloss finish on it, anodized finish to it, but then that ANI that's got the textured black finish to it really didn't hold up too well over time. Now, that's not to say that this DV1 won't hold up too well over time. I guess it's the only really the only thing I've got to gauge it up against. It's the only other gun that I've got that has a matte black textured finish on it. So yeah, as I say, the DV1 Clearcoat might actually, turn out to be a really easy one to clean, and it doesn't sort of scratch and chip really easily like that ANI did. So look, time will tell. Stay tuned, and I'll keep you updated on how it does fare over time. So the next thing I wanted to mention is that if you do go for the digital version of the DV1 Clearcoat, it's worth keeping in mind that they've actually changed this gauge. Now, they've got a few reasons for it. Supposedly it's going to make it last a little bit longer, and basically the long and the short of it is that when it reads like 1.4 on the digital gauge, you're actually 2 2 bar on the base of the gun. So maybe sort of get some calibrations first time you actually use it. Keep that calibration in your head. They might even have a chart in that box. That was actually what I was looking for when I was looking through that manual. I was trying to see if I could quickly see their breakdown chart on the digital compared to analog pressure settings. But as I say, just keep that in mind. Don't just start spraying with it and think, oh, I'm just spraying with like 20 PSI now, and I used to always spray with 29. Wow, this gun's amazing. No, it's actually going to read, when you think it's 20 PSI on the top of the gun, it'll probably be reading 29 at the base of the gun. So it's not like, yeah, it's not amazing. It's not as crazy as what you might think. So the next thing I decided to include was just a quick snapshot of some of the air caps. So on the left you can see TE20, that's my go-to beast that I usually use. So that's in the center now. On the right is the brand new DV1 C1 air cap, and on the left there is the DV1 base coat air cap, so HVLP plus. So look, they're not massively different. The main thing I notice, and go back and have a look and hit pause if you really want to, but the main thing I notice is that the holes are just a slight bit smaller. So the holes either side of the fluid tip, the 3 small holes, I noticed that they were a little bit smaller on the DV1. So to me that means it's going to require less air volume, but it's going to get a slightly finer atomization when you actually go to spray it. Which is why I'm a little bit surprised that they even call it a HVLP. Well, they call it HVLP plus, whatever the plus means. And honestly, I wouldn't be too surprised if they're just doing that to sort of get through, I don't know, some regulations. And I know that in America, like big parts of America, it's all about efficiency and you need to use the HVLP air caps and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, I don't know. It could be partly that. It's anyone's guess at the end of the day. I'm not hearing that from anyone officially saying that that's why they called it a HVLP plus, but yeah, I mean, it's actually a new term. I don't think anyone's ever used that term prior to the DV1 being released. But they did actually use that same terminology with the DV1 base coat. So yeah, with the DV1 base coat, they had HVLP and HVLP plus, but with the DV1 Clear, at this point, I believe there's just the one air cap, and that is the HVLP plus. So as I said before, C1 is the name of the air cap. Now the big question on everyone's lips is going to be, would you recommend me to buy this gunny? Would you? Now, okay. I've been soul searching. As I said, I've had this for like around a week and a half, and I've used it a lot. I mean, I do spray quite a lot at work. I get, I don't know, 1 to 3 jobs a day these days, depending. And I've been using this most of the time. Now, my consensus after using it for a week and a half is it's a bit hungrier than my TE20. It doesn't surprise me after looking at that air cap that it does use a little bit more material. Now what you see me doing, spraying here, is actually the very first job I sprayed with this gun. So yeah, this has still got the 1.2 in it. However, what I actually ended up doing, I ended up getting the fluid tip out of one of my DV1 base coat guns, which was a 1.3. I put that in, and I actually found the material consumption was actually a little bit better. I found that with this job here, I used 300 mils more than what I would have with my TE20 Pro Light. Now, I did get a much finer, flatter finish than I would usually get with my TE20. And as I said, because we've got those smaller holes, you're going to get less air flowing through it, but at a finer atomization. So yeah, look, would I say to buy it, or would I buy it myself? I would want one. I wouldn't care if it used an extra 10 or 20 mils per panel. I do like my DeVilbisses, but I don't think I would actually use it every day on every single job. Now, this car here actually came out looking too good for the rest of the car. Now, in this industry, we need to make cars look the same as the rest of the car. So we're not doing full resprays on everything. As you can see here, I'm just sort of, respraying a few new parts, doing a few blend panels, and if they look better than the rest of the car, that actually stands out just as much as if they look worse, nearly. I mean, yeah, you don't usually get customers complaining, oh, you know, the paintwork that you've just done on my car looks too good. But to me, to the trained eye, I don't want that. I want to, hide any fact that I've been there, hide any traces. At the end of the day, that's pretty much my job description, is to return the vehicle to pre-accident condition. So if pre-accident that car had a bit of an orange peel to it, or whatever style orange peel it had to it, that's up to me to replicate that. So yeah, look, I'll give you guys a look at a photo of this vehicle, of the orange peel that I got in it compared to factory finish orange peel. And yeah, it's a little bit better. As I say, it's not terrible. I mean, you can't just have that attitude, it's just a Hyundai, because to some person, like, they've gone and spent like $25,000 on this. It's not just a Hyundai. They might say, this is my Hyundai, man. You know, don't treat this with any disrespect, you know. And that's the way I sort of look at this trade, like, and yeah, like, this is someone's car, you know. Treat it with just as much or more respect than you would treat your own things. And again, that's the way I treat my boss's materials. I don't just think, oh well, it's not my Clearcoat that's getting pumped into the filters. I think, well, someone's paying for it, you know. My boss has got to pay for that. And the way I've always seen it is, the more money my boss makes, the more I'm able to make as well. So yeah, I do recommend taking that approach to work and to life. Just treat other people's things with respect, and work hard for your money, earn it, and spend it wisely, guys. That's another thing I've been thinking about lately. Now, it's been a while since I've actually made a video. A few people have probably wondered where I've been, but one thing I really wanted to tell you guys is that, you know, in my 20s, I used to waste money like it was, you know, a never-ending income stream. But now I'm getting a little bit older. The body's starting to feel a little bit harder, and I think to myself, man, I don't want to be doing this stuff when I'm 60 years old. Like, I do want to be painting, but I don't want to be going through that daily grind of having to work to make a paycheck to, you know, just get through life. So yeah, look, work hard and save your pennies. But yeah, as I say, would I recommend buying this spray gun? I would, to people that want to get like flat resprays, stuff like that. If you want an extra gun to use, say, for Mazdas or something like that, Mazdas and Mitsubishis do have like very minimal material on them and flat finishes. However, on the other hand, there's nothing to say that you can't get that with, say, your Pro Light or something that's an extra $200 cheaper. But yeah, unfortunately, they've priced themselves out of a big market, being the DIY guys. Look, I couldn't justify this kind of money for a DIY guy. I mean, a Pro Light was sort of like just there. You just scrape in to something that I would confidently be able to recommend to someone who's a DIY guy. Like with the Pro Light, you know, you are getting a quality tool, and it's not going to totally break the bank, you know. It's around the $500 Australian mark, give or take, depending on where you are, whatever. But you know, the versatility of that gun with all the different fluid tips and air caps that you've got at your disposal, there's usually going to be something that a DIY guy is going to, you know, really benefit from, and just have a good quality purchase, something that he can just buy once, and he's going to have his base coat, clear coat, VOC top coat gun, or direct gloss gun that will just last him a lifetime, you know. But yeah, look, I think this is just that little bit too expensive for someone who might only get to use it, let's just, even if it's like 20 or 30 times a year, it's probably that extra $200 that the gun is asking for. I think, yeah, that I couldn't justify it if I was only using it sort of here and there, you know, a couple of times a month or whatever it be. So yeah, look, at the end of the day, Pro Lights aren't going anywhere. You know what happened to me? Like, I the day before this actually rocked up, I knew it was coming. Chris from Spray Guns Direct sent an email saying, hey, this is the shipping information, tracking information and all that. And I walked out of the booth after spraying a door on, I can't remember even what car it was. But as I walked out of the booth, I said to myself, what can they even do? Like, what can they do to improve it, you know? And look, they have, in certain aspects, like, this gets a really, really flat finish. But as I say, that's not what we always want. That's not what you want. You need to replicate the finish that's on the car. So using this to try and replicate a European finish, ooh, probably struggling. I've done a few jobs, and it's, yeah, a little bit harder to replicate that thick, chunky orange peel. Now, the other thing is the clear coat you're using. Now the clear coat that we use is Standox standing clear, and it's a little bit on the thinner side. Like, it's not an MS, but it's not a HS, it's like a hybrid. That's what they tell me anyway, the paint reps tell me. So it wants to go on flat anyway, so that is one little thing that does sort of annoy me. But yeah, look, I would recommend also, like, especially people in Australia or in the warmer climates, say like Arizona, Texas, you know, like those kind of climates, I'd probably go 1.3. Hold off. Now, I believe Spray Guns Direct have only got the 1.2 in stock at the moment. I did have a quick look at their website, and I'm pretty sure that's what it said. So yeah, look at that very tight orange peel on it. Yeah, it's a little bit too tight, a little bit too flat, I believe. But as I say, there will be a link to Spray Guns Direct listing in the description of this video. If you do want to help the channel by yeah, supporting my sponsor, that'd be great. But otherwise, get locally, whatever, it doesn't really bother me, you know. But yeah, look, I think the $700 or thereabouts, I wouldn't spend more than $800 on it. Basically, if you can get one for under $800, I'd probably say it's a solid buy. Look, at the end of the day, this gun's probably only going to get better. They're probably only going to continue to release more air caps as we go on. And the next thing I would actually like to say is I've got some footage of me just going ham on this Mercedes bonnet, man. I pumped like 1.1 liters of Standox Standard Clear onto this Mercedes bonnet and front bumper cover, and I will be editing up, or at least yeah, throwing some footage up on my second channel, the Gunman Raw, in the next week or two. So yeah, stay tuned for that, gunners. Alright, hope you guys enjoyed watching this video, and until next time, get out there and paint some shit. Gunman out.